Mm. The Boy Next Door is directed by Rob Cohen, and it stars Jennifer Lopez, Ryan Guzman, and Kristin Chenoweth. This is the very atypical story of an attractive woman, a teacher. She lives in a house with her son, recently separated, and a young man moves in next door to take care of his sick uncle. In the process, there's a bit of an attraction there, and in a moment of weakness, she gives in, but then shortly after realizes her mistake, and when she tries to break it off, he turns out to be a raging psychopath. I mean, I know it's a very original story, and no one's ever done this before, but this one's gonna be different, I'm sure of it. So, for starters, what did this movie get right? I'm asking you. I have no idea. I've got nothing. From the complete and total retread, rehash of this storyline to the inane directing and the horrible acting, I mean, there's just not a lot of good to be had. Jennifer Lopez is not good. She plays this at times conflicted character, or she's trying to anyway. And there's just no believability there. There's no real emotion behind any of it. You can tell she's really trying hard to act, and it's just not working at all. Not to mention the million times that her character, what she does, makes very little sense. But she's actually not the worst of it. Ryan Guzman was equally awful. He plays this completely and totally over the top kind of a character. And he is, of course, good at everything. And he is a huge fan of Homer's Iliad. And every time he quotes it, it's one of the most ridiculous points in the film. Through it all, even at his craziest moments, there's no real menace. There's no real feeling of threat. Despite all of his physical displays and his ridiculous dialogue, there's just nothing behind it. And at times it was really, really funny. The other characters didn't fare much better, though, because their motivations were mind-boggling and their attitudes seemed to change on a whim. There was one character you're introduced to at the beginning of the movie, and you're like, okay, I think I understand this person. I get where they're coming from. And they have one conversation, and they completely change. Seeming almost everything about them, they're completely different character, and they're reacting crazily for no reason. It just didn't make any sense. Kristin Chenoweth is maybe the only person that gives a halfway decent performance in this, because she's the best actor of the bunch. But that's really not saying much, because I don't think she got a lot of help from the director. The bottom line is, this movie is just one big giant retread of a million ideas. Not only is the story in itself completely and totally derivative, but every element in it you've seen someone else do, and do it way better. The best and worst part of this film, though, had to be the ridiculous finale, because it was amazing. I mean, they did everything they did in the movie, but they did it all condensed in a tiny little scene, where they just took a whole bunch of different ideas and shoved them all in there. And it was, I mean, done to hilarity. I mean, my entire theater was rolling. I was crying. I was laughing so hard. And not because it was supposed to be that way. It was because it was so unbelievably bad. Now you might hear that and say, well, then maybe there's some merit to this, because at least it's so bad that it's funny. But here's the thing. You have to suffer through the entire first portion of the movie to get to the point where you're just so delirious that you're just crying with laughter. You don't want to put yourself through that. And for the love of heaven, don't give these people any money. They don't deserve it. I'm going to give The Boy Next Door a 0 out of 5. Oh my gosh, there was no redeeming quality in this whatsoever. Please, for the love of heaven, don't give these people your money. Don't do it. So, will you heed my warning, or are you going to rush headlong into an hour and a half of Jennifer Lopez acting? Leave a comment below and tell me about it. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and click right here if you like what you see, and subscribe to even more of me.